It's your girl Theory of Sorcerer 777 here, back with the ones and twos. This is a part 2 to the video that I thought I paused and then had to re-record all over again. But anyways, like I was saying, his left shoulder started to twitch. And, I had pointed it out to him, like, hey, what's going on? He's like, I don't know why people are so fucking inconsiderate and they're acting like they're stupid. He was like, I'm just gonna stop texting back. I'm just gonna stop responding. So I was like, okay. I'm like, but your left shoulder is twitching. And I had to stare at it for a minute because I was like, okay, it's really twitching. Then I had to really look at it, you guys. And I'm like, oh shit, his shit is really like going off. Now, sitting here and I'm putting pieces together now, okay? Your right side of your brain controls the left side of your body. And the left side of your brain controls the right side of your body. In energy, in the yin-yang symbol, feminine energy is on your left, okay? And your masculine energy is on your right, which is the yang, okay? This is why, and this is how your energy within your counterpart is meshed and or balanced or imbalanced out, okay? Now, so his left side started twitching. Your left side is your emotions, okay? Your femininity. Your right side is your masculine, is your methodical thinking, is your analytical, that part of your brain. So, if you look at what is going on, I ran into somebody, I want to say a week after that, right? Someone that I call like a big brother, like a spiritual mentor, right? And he had a friend in there, and he had asked me, because he's a reader and he's gifted too. So he says to me, he's like, can I ask you a question? Now, this is the first time I ever met this man. And I said, no. No, I didn't say no. Ooh, I don't know where that came from. I said, he said to me, can I ask you a question? And I was like, sure. He was like, are you involved with a so-and-so and so-and-so? Like, he basically gave the description of my individual, my person. And so a client that I had with me in there, who's like a little sister, shout out to you. She know who she is. And she started laughing. She was like, oh my God, what happened with him now? Like, there's always something going on with him. So she started laughing. She was like, yo, it seems like we ain't get enough information on him yet. So I'm like, okay, well, let me just listen to what this man has to say. So basically, he was on the money because he basically described what he looked like. So I'm like, well, what's going on with him? He was like, when's the last time you heard from him? And I said, a week ago, when I saw him. And he just looked at me. He was smoking a cigar, and he just looked at me. He then said, he hasn't called you or anything? I said, nope. And I wasn't going to put myself in the energy to reach out to him because I'm so far past that in my journey. You understand what I'm saying? If you call, you call. If you text, you text. If you don't, you don't. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not going to hound you 24/7 because it's crazy, because I already let him know that in physical life. And I had a very in-depth conversation with this beautiful human being. And I told him straight up and down, I said, let me tell you something. And it wasn't to delay our journey. It wasn't to go back into 3D thinking. And it wasn't to be, or to throw out karmic energy. But that was me. And that is how I chose to take back my power. From the dynamic of always being in this push and pull, which I know that's going to be, that's what we are. It's a push and pull, it's a tug, and it's like a tug of war with the energy. So instead of fighting with the energy, like I always tell you guys, I just go with the flow. Why force somebody or fight with somebody about communication, or talking to you, or reaching out to you, or doing what they should do if they're in a relationship with you? Do you understand what I'm saying? So the information went as such. I told my counterpart, like, listen, I basically told him that his communication sucks. Okay? I didn't lie about that. I didn't make that up. That is what it is. The communication part of it sucks. And it's very interesting because when I looked into his chart, just to kind of get a better understanding of who this man is on a deeper level, which he doesn't really express. Lord and behold, y'all, would y'all have even thought about, when I read his chart, it said issues, throat chakra. And I'm like, what the fuck? So his issue, his battle is his communication, the fact that he does not speak. So he always have had throat chakra issues. That's in his energy. That's who he is. That's in his genetic makeup as a person. He does not know how to communicate. He doesn't know how to talk. Okay? Which, I literally, once I saw that, literally, y'all, I threw the fucking phone down somewhere else and I was just like, yo, what the But when you really, if you're doing the work and you're trying to figure things out and you're trying to heal and you're trying to grow and you're trying to progress, when you come into information like that, then you'll know. Then you'll know. If you're reading information on your person and that's what you have been experiencing with this individual, feminine and or masculine, and you see shit like that, that confirms all the things you've been going through with this individual, then you will know. There will be no second guessing. There will be no questioning. You know. Well, damn. And like I said, when I saw that information in his chart, I was like, I'm like, what the fuck? This man really do have communication issues. And that was what the conversation was about. Next topic was, I told him, I said, your communication sucks. And I've been telling my counterpart for a long time, you know, your communication is fairly, if not highly, shitty. So I told him, I said, moving forward, I'm about to be 32 years old. Okay? 3 and 2 is 5. Changes. I am no longer going to be chasing you, and I should not be chasing you for conversation and or communication, because you know how to speak. But at the same time, when I took a look at the chart 2 weeks ago, he doesn't know how to speak. They say people will make time for what they want, okay, which is understandable, but in a dynamic like this, that's not really the case. So with us, sometimes the rules have been bent according to the energy that we carry, okay? He has always struggled with communication issues. That is who he is as a man. He doesn't know how to converse. He doesn't know how to let people know he's not in the best of space. He doesn't know how to let people know that he is struggling. He doesn't talk about anything, because him talking about anything is allowing him to be vulnerable, and he doesn't like tapping into his feminine energy. And when the car horn honks, confirmation. That's another thing that spirit has brought to my attention a lot recently in the last 6 months to a year, is that when I'm onto something and I'm talking outside or this, that, and the third, or when I'm talking in my house, the whole block would be completely quiet. The moment I say something that's relevant and that is on point, bam, bam, car horn honks. Like, okay, there goes your confirmation. You already knew that. Okay, so that was confirmation. He doesn't like being vulnerable, because that means, for men as a whole, we're going to take the divine masculines out of this, okay? For men as a whole, they think that by being vulnerable, that means you're pussy whipped. Excuse my language. That means you're soft. That means, from other men's point of view, you're bitch made. Oh, you soft. Oh, you crying. Men is not supposed to cry. And that's also how men have been conditioned. That showing emotion means you're soft. Showing emotion means that you're fucking bitch whipped. No. Vulnerability, there is strength in vulnerability. I'm going to say that again. There is strength in being vulnerable, because you are, at the end of the day, you are still human. And what people need to understand is, and what I've learned from information that I have picked up bits and pieces here and there, you need all of your elements of who you are to manifest anything in your life. So basically, if you got all this thinking, which is source, which is air energy, you're putting the thought out there, you're doing this, that, and the third. And then you, how do you say it? You use all the air energy, which is your thinking aspect, which is thinking, all right, we're going to use an example. You're thinking of your person, right? Thinking. Let me tell you something. That is our spiritual way of shooting our shot. If I think about you, that's me manifesting you. That's me putting the energy out there. Okay, so you have people that would think about you and have the thought by, oh, maybe I should call this individual. Oh, I really miss this individual. That's the emotion in you. That's the water. That's the cups. So you're using water, okay, and you're using the swords. You're using the emotion, which created the thought, for you to even reflect and be like, damn, I miss this person, or damn, I want to call this person, or damn, I want to go see this individual. But then again, you're not even using your pentacles, which is your earth, which is your grounding energy, nor are you using your wands, which is the fire, to put shit into action. So you're going to sit there and basically manifest this individual to do what? To either and or call or text or reach out to you first. That's what manifesting is. When I think about somebody, or when you think about somebody, that's you energetically and telepathically shooting your shot. Like, so. But if you realize, people will use those energies to get you to do things first, because they don't want to be the first one to contact and or reach out to you. Okay? So, if you're going to manifest, and if you're going to do anything, you should not be doing anything half-assed, which means you're using 2 of your elements instead of using all 4. If you're thinking about something, if you're missing someone, then you need to use all your elements and get it done. Okay? So back to the story. Because it's story time. With the arm twitching with him. So the guy told me, he was like, yeah, somebody just died recently in his family. He hasn't reached out to you? And I'm like, no. He was like, He's like, yeah, well, somebody just passed away. Like, literally. He's like, spirit won't let me see how long it's been since they passed away. But I'm like, it had to be recent, because I just saw him and he didn't tell me about anybody dying. He would have told me. So when I thought about it, I was like, oh, and I said to my client, I was like, little sister, it's gotta be the aunt. Come to find out, she's gifted too, and her gifts and her confirmation come in special as body chills. So when she's right, or you're right about something, or it's the truth, her energy and her spirit's running through her as chills. So if she gets chills, it's a yes, it's a confirmation. So she was like, yo, big sis, I think, spirit is saying, yeah, she did. And the guy kept asking me, like, he didn't tell you? I'm like, no, he didn't. But it's crazy because also at my house, when I'm onto something or that's confirmation to a thought I had or whatever case it be, the lights in my house will flicker. And the lights in my house were flickering maybe like 3 or 4 days before I saw her to cleanse her off, and before I got the information from the guy that was a friend to my big brother mentor. And I didn't really understand, because I'm like, okay, we already had a situation like this where the lights were flickering like crazy, and I wasn't really, I don't want to say really in the mood. I wasn't really focused on tapping in to get the information of what they were trying to get me. They were literally trying, it looked like when the lights were flickering in my house that day, it looked like disco was in, because it was just non-stop flickering, off and on, off and on. So I'm just like, okay. let me stop and let me listen and let me tune in, because there's something you guys are trying to let me know. And it happened again for the second time, and I was like, okay, damn, that's the reason why the lights flickered like crazy, because I was asking them, like, okay, you guys have the lights flickering like crazy, you're trying to get my attention, there's something huge popping off. Okay, so, and I kept asking them, but I guess they're like, okay, well, maybe she really needs to just sit her ass down and really tune into us and really think about it. Sure enough, when I looked up, something happened after that. I think more body twitching. I really hate his card. That shit sounds so horrible. With the body twitching, because my shoulder was twitching maybe a couple days after that, or this, that, and the third. And then when I looked up the spiritual meaning behind the shoulder twitching, it either means death is coming and or sleeping in a strange place. So I'm like, what the hell? And when I reread it, because there ago I went on 2 different sites and got one information from one site and the other definition from another site. So I was like, oh shit. But in his case, he was doing both. Or it was future, the twitching of the body and the ligaments is future events that are to come, which means it hasn't happened yet. But that's the energy and source and spirit letting you know, like, yo, just to let you know, there's some shit, whatever body twitch comes, there's some shit that's currently about to manifest, and there's some shit that's about to pop off, so pay attention. And I thought about it, and I was like, oh my God, like, what? That's crazy. And I'm like, yo. But in his case, Spirit said both meanings were for him. And I was like, wow, like, that's really crazy. And I'm like, well, damn. And of course, you know, I've already had cast it out into the universe, you know, listen, I'm not going to be chasing you for communication. I'm not going to be doing this, that, and the third. You know what I'm saying? That's me taking back my power. Like, I know my worth. I know I'm worth conversation. I know I'm worth talking to. I know I'm worth this, that, and the third. So I should no longer have to beg you for anything. Because for number one, I don't ask you for anything. And I let him know that too, like, and I shouldn't have to let him know that, and I shouldn't have to tell him that in the physical, in black and white or verbally, because he knows. He knows I don't ask him for anything. So if I ask you to communicate and be more verbal and to tell me what's going on with you, and I told him too, I shouldn't have to consistently tap into you to figure out what's going on with you. Okay, but sometimes that's when you have the gifts and you have the energy, sometimes that's what you're going to have to do. If Spirit wants you to do it. Okay. So, I just wanted to give you guys some information on spiritual confirmation and messages from Spirit, and how you may receive your downloads or the energy of what they're trying to tell you about what's going on currently, or what's going to manifest, or what's in the energy to manifest, or what's in the energy to pop off. However, which way you go. Okay. If you get your messages in license plates, when it comes to numbers, Google the number. Don't just sit there. There is a twin flame definition for it and an angel number definition for it. For the number, whatever. If you see 111, that's new beginnings. That's manifesting. That means keep your thoughts positive, because what you're thinking about is manifesting at a rapid rate. This guy looks so disgusting. Okay, so focus on that. If your messages come to you in feathers, flying around you and out of nowhere, focus on that. Get the information from that. If the information comes to you in receipt numbers, look at the receipt number, look at the number on your receipt, and go ahead and look it up through that. If your information is coming to you in body twitches, focus on the twitch. What side of the body is it coming from? Who is it in reference to? Google the twitch meaning. Okay? If your information is coming to you in leaves, clouds, butterflies, messages on your timeline, things on your profile, things in your email, that's the information That's the information that Spirit is giving to you, because Spirit is trying to get your attention in several different ways. And my freaking hand is on fucking fire. My right thumb. Okay? This is your girl, Ethereal Sorcerer 777 here, back with the ones and twos. The information and my booking information and all the services that I offer will be listed in the description box below. There will also be a link to the information and the services that I offer that would also be attached in the description box below. If you guys have anything you guys want me to do a video on, any requests, the Saturn retrograde was actually a request from a client, like I mentioned in the video, kind of giving everybody a more in-depth of what Saturn going retrograde is representing and what it will be doing for the collective, for the masses, for your chart individually, okay? If you need the help and if you need the guidance, please do not be afraid to reach out to anybody that you trusted or that you trust spiritually to help you. You'll know if they're going to do right by you, and you know if they're not going to. But do not be afraid or hesitate to seek the guidance and or the help that you need to help you heal, to help you grow, to help you figure things out, to help you figure out your own stuff, your own shit, your own baggage, the energy with your counterpart, whatever it is. Yo, my hand is freaking warm, yo. What the heck? And it's so crazy, you guys, because I've tried to look that up 1,001 times. Because this is like probably like the second or third time it's happened. I'm like, and I can never figure out why the hell my hand or a certain finger on a hand is like red. Hot. So please pay attention to your signs and messages from Spirit. Pay attention to your numbers. Pay attention to your receipts. Pay attention to the clouds. Pay attention to the TV. Pay attention to if you stop a show at a certain amount of time because you don't want to miss a certain part and you stop it at a certain number. I'm gonna tell you guys this before I go. I was watching a movie called The House at the End of the Street on Netflix. And I stopped the movie on Netflix because I went down the block to go get me some hot wings. Now here's the gag, right? When I had stopped the movie on Netflix called The House at the End of the Street, when I stopped the movie and I pressed pause so I could run down the block to go get my wings and come back, I ended up stopping it at 52 minutes with it was 47 minutes and 52 seconds with 52 minutes left or something like that. So what I saw was 52. And I was like, here we go with the messages. If you pay attention to shit like that, you'll see that back of the card looks crazy. Okay? So, like I said, all the information to all the services that I offer will be listed in the description box below. This is your girl, Ethereal Sorcerer 777 here, back with the ones and twos. If you want the truth, and if you want the real, and if you want the tea, guess what? This is where you need to be. I'll holla.